Basketball at the provincial, national, and international level has both a referee and an administrator.
Murray Swayze's career in basketball began in the 1960s with his involvement in refereeing and coaching. Swayze became very involved in the provincial basketball administration and served as secretary-treasurer from 67 to 69 and president of the Saskatchewan Amateur Basketball Association from 69 to 72. During his tenure, province-wide championships at the intermediate and senior levels were reintroduced, and SABA became financially sound.
I stuck with basketball, I think, primarily because I had a love for basketball. It came from playing, it came from refereeing, and then it grew into the provincial Saskatchewan Amateur Basketball Association. And there were so many wonderful people that wanted to play basketball, and there were so many wonderful opportunities to coordinate from Saskatoon to the smaller centers, Moose Jaw, Regina, and we were trying to build a competitive level outside the high schools because they were run by the SAHA, but we tried to get the senior men's, the senior ladies, and the junior men's tournaments throughout the province. So it became a real challenge and a love because it was infectious because everybody else throughout the province, particularly the small centers, who wanted to become a part of that scene.
Nationally, Murray moved on to the executive of the Canadian Amateur Basketball Association from 1972 to 1980 and served as its president from 1974 to 76 under its new name, Basketball Canada.
Moving from a provincial scene to a national scene wasn't that difficult because the president of the provincial association became a representative of the Canadian Amateur Basketball Association at that time. And I think I started in 1972 out in British Columbia and started to attend the meetings, and then the transition was, of course, from being a member to a part of the executive and moving up that ladder. But again, there was a tremendous challenge to involve Saskatchewan in the national scene and trying to get our provincial tournaments up to the level of other provinces and getting our champions moving on to the national senior men's championships, for example. And then along the way, they came the Canada Games, and we wanted participation in those to be at a very high level. So there was always a challenge to get our athletes from Saskatchewan involved on a national level, and there was a natural transition and growth to that level.
Swayze was a member of the selection committee that hired the very successful and popular Jack Donahue as the men's national team coach. Murray's involvement with the national team program began immediately when he served as camp manager for Coach Donahue's first selection camp. Murray also served as Basketball Canada's representative on the Canadian Olympic Association from 1974 to 1980 and participated in the site selection process for the 1988 Winter Olympics in Calgary. Internationally, Swayze was the chef de mission for a 1972 tour of China by the Canadian men's and women's teams and represented CABA at the 1974 World Basketball Championships in San Juan, Puerto Rico. He was also CABA's representative at 2 Pan American Basketball Championships, 75 in Mexico City and 79 in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Murray was also a founding member for the establishment of the Pan American Basketball Federation and served on that committee from 1975 to 1983. Murray's personal highlight was being the president of Basketball Canada in 1976 and serving as the host for basketball at the Montreal Olympic Games, where the Canadian men's team finished 4th.
The World Championship in 1974 has some particularly good memories because that was the first time I really traveled with Jack Donahue and the national team to the World Basketball Championship in San Juan, Puerto Rico. And it was through that time that I met a lot of South American people involved with the administration. Rafael Lopez was chairman of the tournament at that time, and he became a very good friend over the years, but I had a chance to travel with the team and appreciate all of the things that Jack Donahue and the national team were being confronted with when they went internationally to play and represent Canada. And there were some things that we learned as an association, as a team, that were building blocks for us leading up to the Olympics in '76. And it was, apart from being so proud of the team the way they played, we had a tremendous opportunity to observe the quality of international basketball. And we were starting on the lower end of the rungs at that time, but those are small steps towards Montreal and where we are internationally with basketball now.
Please welcome into the Saskatchewan Sports Hall of Fame, builder Murray Swayze. Nicely done. Thank you, Murray. Good job. Now, Fran Huck, the Regina Pats Golden Hawk, led the Canadian national team